No, shut up.
What up? I guess the tone was right. I wasn't mad at that.
All right.
I hadn't heard Martin do that in a minute.
What up? Welcome into Outspoken Network, where we say what we mean what we say. We are
Yes, sir.
Off season, where we're going to be doing one show a week.
It's the off season.
45 an hour. We're going to hit on
Shout out to J. Cole.
The latest and greatest. Plus, we're going to get into at least 3 teams every week leading up into the draft. So we're going to obviously start off with the first 3 at the top of the draft.
That means the Commanders in the A block?
No, they're not.
Oh.
But before we get started, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I'm Cordell.
Marcus.
Deuce.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump
with the Deuce pick. The Washington Commanders select. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Also, before we get started, please like, subscribe, share on all socials, and please leave your comments down below. Continue to keep this thing growing and moving.
It'd be funny if they just messed this thing up at number 2. How you messed that up at 2? That's crazy.
Before we get into it, let's go ahead and start with we got free agency. We got tags that's officially started yesterday.
Tag season.
To be able to franchise tag, transition tag, or there's one more tag.
Non-exclusive? Exclusive transition? I think those
I already got the transition.
Are we going to get? We're not going to get into all that already.
I mean,
I think just non-exclusive, exclusive, and transition. I think those are the tags.
I don't want to confuse.
Yeah, I think so.
So we'll probably only talk about franchise and transition.
Bingo.
Those are the only 2 because I think that there should be some transition tags instead of franchise tags on certain players. Which, if you don't know, transition tag essentially is you can tag a player at a set amount. And if another team is willing to pay more, you have the opportunity to match or let that player walk, and you'll be compensated the next year for said player in the draft of maybe a 3rd-round pick or whatever have you.
Oh, yes. You're talking about for the transition.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Franchise tag, I mean, there's really no other option. When you slap that on them, they either sign it, they have an option to try and get an extension sometime by middle of June.
Yep.
I believe you have to do that. If not, then you just have what you got for the most part and keep it pushing.
Let's also mention the fact that for those that may not actually be up to may not actually understand the franchise tag entirely. A lot of players are pretty much against it for the most part because it doesn't secure a long-term future. It basically just keeps you on a team for a year and gets you paid, but there is no long-term security that goes along with it.
I mean, it is a guaranteed contract
for a year.
So yeah, just for a year.
Yeah.
So basically. Let's just say, you're on the franchise tag, you get hurt. Now all of a sudden, that long-term deal you wanted, I could be gone.
Teams are going to use that against you going forward.
Yes.
For the foreseeable future.
So it's great for a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Because it's fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, you're good.
But
it's just
if you're looking for long-term security, this ain't it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I mean, the only person who I've seen successfully use the franchise tag,
Kirk Cousins. The way he has been able to just masterfully play 10 plus years essentially on the tag over the last
with above average football.
His contracts have always been fully guaranteed.
They've always been fully guaranteed
with above average football.
Yes, which is so uncommon for him to have that many guaranteed contracts in his career. It's so impressive.
But I think the loophole that he does is he never asks for the most money.
Right.
So it's always fully guaranteed.
Well, hold on. That Vikings contract, that 3-year fully guaranteed, that was a lot of money.
No,
it was. But it was.
But because the way that they always work it is they always say, okay, yes, it's good money now, but by the end of the contract, it's never going to be.
Yes.
And that's why he's able to work it like that. He's like, okay, yeah, like it might hurt at this very moment. But 3 years from now, it's going to be chunky.
And the interesting thing about it is the fact that Kirk was one, especially when he was in Washington. Kirk was one of the few players like in NFL history that willingly took on the tag.
Yeah.
In back-to-back years.
I mean, just knowing how Kirk be moving as a human, listening to him talk, watching him on the quarterback, or just
a professional.
He just seems like somebody who will acclimate, who will do what he can for somebody else. Like just the way that he moved, the way that he think. Like when I seen that he has a jar outside his crib with just a bunch of sand that shows when it's filling up that his life is getting shorter. Like even just little things like that. I feel like he just has a different appreciation.
Wait, he does?
Yes, that's what I read. But
yeah, it does make you appreciate.
You know what I'm saying? Just
life.
he thinks about things differently, so it adds up for me. That's all. I'm sorry. It was.
No,
It's a little dark, but like
it's a little bit. That was kind of
it puts things into perspective.
make me a little nervous.
He's now again on the market. Except this time the
However,
Vikings cannot franchise tag him. It is a
Mhm.
clause in his contract that he put in there 3 years ago.
Right.
Good on him. So he's out there in free agency along with.
In addition, he's facing free agency with a major injury, which is for the first time in his career.
Mhm.
This is not his first time entering free agency,
And he's
but it's
35.
the first It's the first time he's entering free agency with an injury that's concerning to a lot of teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out for him.
Now, what I want to know is in his clause, because I know it says you can't franchise tag him, but can you transition tag him?
I would assume not.
I don't think that's something that the Vikings would even want to do.
Why not?
Because I think the transition.
Is there another quarterback better on the market? Because they're not in position to draft one. So
This is not
if you want to go out and you want to say
this is not a great QB market in free agency.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to just go in terms of like who's the best quarterback, so like right now, but he's the best.
Right. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking,
so that
I
means,
can't draft one.
So that
my
means
position.
it could be a bidding war for him if it came to that.
It could be a bidding war. If you
So-
do a transition
so-
tag, yes.
It could still be that. So why would you do it?
No, because at this point I'm putting a transition tag. If somebody doesn't want to outbid me, then I get them. If somebody does, then okay. But at least I tried. I'm not just letting you walk out this door.
Well, that's what free agency is for. You just bid for him, and then
It's
you
different.
because you know that like he already has been like the organization's already said they would love to have him back.
Mhm.
O'Connell already said he would love to have him back. So
Mhm.
I think priority wise, he would be on their priority to just come back. And I think that they do have Daniil Hunter that's on free agency, but I think they would let him walk and then keep Kirk because the way that their
I couldn't
offense-
figure out the track.
the way their offense is, but you would want him over anybody else that's on free agency for them right now.
I was trying to find the clauses for his tags. I couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
But I agree with Queese.
And especially goes with the whole Justin Jefferson. He wants to know who the quarterback is throwing him the football.
Yeah,
Which is very fair.
Yeah,
So-
and I don't want to get ahead of anything, but
It says a lot about Kirk if that's how he's maneuvering.
this is his contract situation is looming next year, Justin Jefferson.
Mhm. For
So
the extension.
what happens this offseason could affect what happens next offseason.
Similar to Devontae Adams a couple years ago.
Correct.
Yes. So, all right. So, notable people who we believe can be franchise tagged. Let's go ahead and get into who you all think should get that tag or transition tag, one or the other.
Well, let's. I'll read off some names of guys that can be franchise tagged.
I like
This
that.
season.
Set the table.
So, out of all the guys that that have been playing, key guys, you have Chris Jones,
Mm-hmm.
defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs.
All
You have
pro defense
L'Jarius
tackle.
Sneed, cornerback for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mhm.
You have Patrick Queen, linebacker for the Ravens. You have Justin Madubuike, another defensive tackle for the Ravens.
Mhm.
You have Isaiah Simmons, who's a linebacker / safety for the Giants.
Mhm.
You have Stephon Gilmore, cornerback for the Cowboys.
Interesting.
You have Antoine Winfield Jr., who is a safety for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have Mike Evans, who is another wide receiver for the Buccaneers.
Mhm.
And then you also have T. Higgins, wide receiver for the Bengals. You have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who is safety. And you have Geno Stone, safety for the Ravens, and you have Devin White, linebacker for the Buccaneers. Just to name a few of the guys that have the possibility of being tagged.
Also got Josh Allen, got Michael Pittman,
Brian
Jalen
Burns.
Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Burns.
Brian
Brian
Burns,
Burns. Yep.
maybe Josh Jacobs, but probably not.
Saquon Barkley.
Of all that list of players, man, if there's one player that I want to point out that I think that particular team that he's on currently needs to tag him. We kind of sort of talked about it a little bit before the show, but Chris Jones entering this free agency period here for Kansas City. Last offseason, we saw the ramifications of two sides that are not on the same page. And with that being said, they entered the season in week 1 without Chris Jones. He was kind of sort of sat out a little bit. He was holding out, and they ended up losing that season opener against the Lions. But Chris Jones, his impact on that Kansas City Chiefs defense, if it may not equate to sack numbers, which a lot of people view when it comes to D ends and D linemen, but if you really just want to
turn on the tape.
Yeah, just turn on the tape and look at how impactful he is in terms of just getting pressure on quarterbacks.
In the big moments, too.
In the big moments. It's so consistent. This playoffs against your Bills, he had a couple plays where he was not able to actually get to Josh Allen in terms of a sack, but he was able to kind of sort of just affect the play and hurry Josh Allen. And in the Super Bowl itself, he had at least 3 plays that I counted where he rushed Brock Purdy into making a decision that could have been an easy touchdown throw.
You're going to leave out the part where it's against your Niners? You weren't going to claim your Niners against his Bills against your Niners? No? Okay, my bad. Go ahead. My bad. I didn't mean to cut off your train of thought.
That was good.
I wanted to hear it. I was like, he didn't start the Super Bowl. Maybe he's gonna circle back, handle his business. But it's okay. I know that it's the offseason now. It was a temporary thing. You know what I'm saying? Just like, hey, you signed your 1-year contract with the 49ers. You got to experience, you know what I'm saying, a little joy. Now you back on the Falcon bandwagon. Now we both in the market for a quarterback. It's beautiful.
You set yourself up.
But yeah, when it comes to Chris Jones, man, I really think, everybody, the attention goes to Patrick Mahomes, and understandably, he's the best quarterback in the league. I get it. But Chris Jones is a vital piece to that Kansas City Chiefs defense and how it operates. And I think they have to do whatever it takes, whether it's an extension or it's even a tag. You cannot let Chris Jones enter free agency, man. I think that could be detrimental to their defense.
Yeah, I think obviously he's one of the best, if not the best, defensive player that we have in the NFL at this moment, especially on the defensive line.
Right.
If it's me, one of the key guys I think will be tagged and probably should be tagged is wide receiver from the Bengals, T. Higgins. I think that the Bengals, with Joe Burrow coming off of injury, we know that he came into the season limping.
Correct.
And it kind of took them a few games before they kind of got off to the start to where people thought they could be contenders. And I think that, they know that the way that their salary cap is set up, they cannot have T. Higgins on a long-term deal if he's going at the market value that we assume that he'll be at, whether it's like 20, 25 million for, 4 to 5 years type thing. They just can't stomach that on their salary cap.
Right.
So if they franchise tag him, not only does it say that, okay, they're going to go all in for next season, they can still draft another wide receiver to kind of groom and help be in that spot. So when it is time for T. Higgins to go next season, they'll have a guy that's been in their system for at least a year. That will probably be wide receiver 3 because I don't see them getting Tyler Boyd back. I feel like they're going to let Tyler Boyd walk and draft a guy. So they just have a younger guy to go with Jamar Chase.
Definitely not keeping both.
Yeah,
definitely.
To piggyback off that, though, it's going to be interesting to see if Joe Burrow pushes the agenda a little bit to get T. Higgins back into the fold here. Because, the way that their offense is constructed, losing T. Higgins, man, their offense could still be good, but I don't know if it can really be as dynamic as it can be now with the fully healthy, Higgins on the field and Burrow and Chase and things of that
nature.
Explosive
plays.
That's a big piece that's gone.
I'm not gonna say that they can't still be explosive.
They could be good
because it just depends on who they get.
They can be good, but I don't know if they can really be like, man, I'm nervous about this offense. Like, wouldn't
So
but you guys view that offense differently if T. Higgins was not around? Like, it's just
like
Absolutely.
you would, right? You
Absolutely.
view it differently, but I think that like
I don't like how you
we
took
see
your nose up when you said
like
that.
we see so many guys that have came into. Let me not say so many, but we've seen guys come into the league, and it's like year one they're off and running at wide receiver, right? And we know this is a deep wide receiver class.
Right.
So depending on who they get, depending on how they fit with this offense, I think that it could be said that they'll be all right.
I'll just say this. If I'm playing a Bengals offense without T. Higgins, I'm playing cloud coverage on Jamar Chase, and I'm saying, Joe Burrow, beat me.
But we've seen that.
With who? Yeah, but you've seen that with T. Higgins on the field. You haven't seen that without T. Higgins removed from the equation.
But that's why I said that's why I say like we gotta really think like, okay, who are they drafting? And that's something that's because we saw
This is a great class for this to happen.
Because we saw Justin Jefferson, second round pick, ends up coming out his rookie year, 1,000 yards. And we're like, oh shoot. So we didn't see that coming. Hold on. DK Metcalf, second round pick. Didn't see that coming. AJ Brown. Like there's a plenty of wide receivers that we've seen recently.
All yours. Go ahead.
I disagree.
Go ahead.
How so?
How do you feel?
Because for every one of those you just named, I can name 20 who didn't in that same draft.
That's fair.
You see what I'm saying? Like you gotta be very hopeful that you're the team who got that one.
That's your hit.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I understand. Like yes, I guarantee it is a guarantee that somebody in this litter of wide receivers
is going to be a star.
They're going to stand out in year one. The question is, are you going to get that one? Because it's not a guarantee. Like, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, even if it was like they went out and they got Brian Thomas or they got who else are they talking about in the first round?
Keon Coleman from Florida State.
Keon Coleman, like. In year one, probably not. But if you're telling me,
Jordan Addison did it last year.
Yeah, Jordan and Zay did. Quentin Johnston
didn't.
Who else was in the draft? I'm sorry. Josh Downs didn't.
No, Josh Downs
was cool.
He was fine. Yeah, he was fine.
Tank pulled up, but he was a what, third round?
Who?
Yeah.
Tank did.
So I think those are the three out of all of the wide receivers. Oh, and Puka.
Puka, yeah.
They're the
fifth rounder.
The four.
Fifth round. I thought it was later.
4 wide receivers out of that. The deep, great. Oh, no. They weren't deep and great. No, last year they didn't talk about them with that much.
So you mentioned, but the Jonathan Mingo, it took half a season for Jonathan Mingo to catch his stride a little bit, you know, and
but you also got to think like the situation.
Jalen Hyatt,
like
Cedric Tillman,
but these guys are going to places with no quarterback. Like, so you can't really say that like they didn't pan out when it's like they don't even got a quarterback throwing them the ball. Yeah. But if you have Joe Burrow, he gonna get you the ball.
The second hardest position on offensive play is wide receiver.
No.
It is the second hardest position to play.
It's not.
Left tackle.
I was going to say left tackle.
No, it's not.
That was going to be.
Do you know how much you have to know to play wide receiver?
You
have to know just as much as the quarterback. If this coverage is doing this, I got to do this. If this is doing this, I got to do
this.
In
a number of offenses, your left tackle has to arguably be either the most athletic or just clearly the most fundamental lineman. Because of the amount of rushers he's going to see.
Yeah, I think
most important
tackle positions, obviously the quarterback. And to be fair, it's like
I said learn. I don't think that's a learning thing.
It's just be good. It's a challenge.
That's a challenge. Like you got a tougher challenge because you're facing on Josh Allen and those guys.
It's about technique.
But the technique, there are a few techniques. No, what he's saying is in terms of learning defenses and learning how to adjust, there is more you have to adjust to as a wide receiver than you will to as a left tackle.
No.
I agree that it's more important to lock down a left tackle.
How many times have we said, wide receivers, all they do is 3 routes.
Here's the
again, and that's not that doesn't make a.
But hold on. But here's the problem. Hold on. Here's the problem that you're not talking about. The way that the NFL has changed in terms of covering receivers, it has benefited the receivers nowadays.
Yeah,
it hasn't necessarily benefited a left tackle. You still have to go against the Myles Garretts and the Bosa's.
It's a challenge.
As a receiver, I'm as a receiver. the way that the rules have changed for you, you are able to really make a lot more plays now than you were able to make 15, 20 years ago. Because you're not allowed to be touched within 5. After 5 yards, they got to let you go.
I'll give you an example. Look, the
And
Chiefs. What made the Chiefs nice when we were able to see their wide receivers in soft zones, be able to stop and see the gaps, boom, be able to read that coverage. Okay, I can't finish my route. I'm gonna sit right here.
But why? No, why? But why are teams? But why are teams playing that more? Because you can't get your hands on the receiver, so you find defenses playing a lot more zone now.
I'm just saying there's more to learn. Because you're talking about technique. I got to learn a bunch of different ways to get you off me and press coverage.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yes,
The game has helped you. The game has helped you.
You still got to know how to get
in a fight. Think about it. How many dominant corners are there to where you really saying
right now?
Damn,
right now.
You gotta
right now.
Like, come on,
right now.
I'm talking about learning.
How many receivers?
Learning. How many times have we seen receivers?
How many techniques are there for
no?
That's what I was going to ask.
No, because we can see receivers come in and dominate off rip. You don't see offensive linemen come in off rookie season and be like, "Hey man, they was just dominant."
Does that speak to it being a challenge or speak to having to learn more?
It's a challenge.
I agree with you there. No. It's not both.
It's
the challenge. It's more important to lock down left tackle.
You have to learn
how many techniques do you think you have to learn as a lineman? Come on.
Oh man, you gotta learn everything because you have to.
What is everything?
Hold on.
What's everything?
But you have to hold on. As a lineman, okay, you're gonna have to learn how to defend a swim move, how to defend a rip move, how to defend a bull rush. And not every pass rusher is going to give you that because one game, Myles Garrett is going to give you a different arsenal.
Plus, blocking scheme.
Right.
It's like, okay,
sometimes
it's double team.
But another game with Brian Burns is going to give you probably more speed than Garrett. So you have to learn how to be able to combat that.
I think with wide receivers,
you can apply the same thing to corners.
No.
Yeah, you can.
Think about it. With receivers, but you're talking about how much you're learning. Bro, they've already learned all the routes. The routes aren't different. Yes, they have. They have. How many times in 7-on-7? All the times that you've seen wide receivers doing all these different kinds of routes in college, to where it's just like, okay, and then the ones that don't, okay, cool. Like if they have a limited route tree in college, they're gonna probably not have an expansive route tree in the NFL. So if you go to but they gotta learn zone coverage, man coverage. I'm like, bro, when you're running your route, you're going to see if it's man coverage or zone.
You literally just said.
This
is what you're telling me. Hold on, wait. Let me sum up what you just said. You're saying that receivers in 7-on-7 and how they've grown into the game know all the routes. What if all the people who we scouting for the first round picks, do they not know what they're doing when they get into the league? Do they not have techniques already to stop bull rushes and swim moves and be able to move their feet and get that?
But it's different going up against NFL.
Hold on.
And it's not versus NFL corners.
Hold on.
But they're not.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? So nowadays, a lot more offenses are running pre-snap motion. And what is the purpose of pre-snap motion?
To learn what the defense is doing.
To dictate whether or not what they're doing, whether they're in man or zone. So if you're already running a curl before the ball is even snapped, you know whether or not you're going to have your space with the pre-snap motion. With the lineman, you don't know what particular pass rush move he's going to use when he's in his 3-point stance.
Challenge.
All you know is what he has a tendency to use.
It is more difficult.
But you don't know.
It's more difficult.
The rules have helped. The way the game has changed has helped
receivers. You're arguing with me about the difficulty of playing the position.
But no,
my
argument is that the game. My argument is that the game has evolved. My argument is that the game has evolved to a point where it's benefited quarterbacks and receivers a lot more than any other position.
Yes, the level of difficulty is lessened. I'm not arguing you about the level of difficulty.
Yeah, you arguing challenge.
We with you. I am not arguing level of difficulty. I'm just saying when they have an option route and they got to know which way to go, or if someone's coming off, and you got to know
listen,
you have to know
as a left tackle. And
hold on. Also, I forgot to bring up wide receivers today. They play multiple wide receiver positions. You need to know how to run.
Not everybody does.
That is the game.
There's only a few people that actually do that.
He was just talking about how
Not everybody does.
No,
But
no,
that left tackle ain't moving nowhere. He ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
He's there all game.
No.
It don't matter.
Exactly.
Because on one snap you can see Karlaftis, on another snap you can see Chris Jones.
Bro,
as a left tackle.
That's just your position is the same.
No, it's not.
Hold on.
What changes?
You brought up
how you defend Karlaftis and how you defend Chris. Like, it's different.
Again, it's not okay. So you're arguing that what you see will be different every play, right? What you see.
It could be.
You, as a left tackle, have a certain, if I'm in pass protection, I'm going to kick step and get myself ready. Okay, look, if this person going to punch right here, I punch, boom, get my hands ready, boom, I'm back, right? You have a certain plan every time to defend.
You know what you forgot? That slot corner that was disguised, he came on a blitz right after snap. You didn't even know.
Okay, look.
As a receiver,
we can flip.
A receiver doesn't have to pick that up.
Time out.
That left tackle is like, well, damn.
No, time out. Because if there's a blitz, a wide receiver needs to know if they're the hot read for the release. I need to get open immediately for my quarterback because there's a blitz.
But the way those are disguised now, you see slot corner blitzes.
And we also know that if that's the case, you block who's inside. You don't go to the slot corner and let the dude come inside you.
You block who's inside all the time? Every single time?
I believe so, yeah. I think that's the fundamental.
The cardinal rule is inside out. The cardinal rule is inside out.
So let me get this straight. So in that particular manner, if I'm going up against someone that's not necessarily a pass rush threat, but yet I'm getting, I don't know, McDuffie coming on a slot corner blitz that I didn't expect, I'm going to pick up Nadi and let McDuffie come free.
Who's getting to the quarterback quicker?
McDuffie.
If I have an inside
I'm not stressed about Nadi's respect.
If you go for McDuffie, then that inside guy comes and just takes out your quarterback. They're going to look at you like, bro, rules are inside out.
I can work.
Look, I feel like the only thing that the biggest thing that y'all are arguing is that, as a receiver, you have to learn more routes.
I wouldn't say routes.
Just routes. Bro. You have to be able to read a defense as a wide receiver as well. Like there's more mental stuff that you got to learn.
Even little things in terms of running. You said running first.
But the thing we're trying to get you to see is that the way the game has changed is the fact that as a receiver, you can read a defense before the ball is even snapped. On most occasions,
what does that have to do? That's challenge. That's a challenge.
No. You know
what we're talking about is not challenge.
Honestly, no, that's not even true because there are plenty of times, even if you're running motion and you can tell if it's man versus zone, you still don't know what type of zone it could be if they're in zone. You don't know maybe half the field is man and half the field is zone because defenses do that too. There's a lot of different disguises, and depending on those disguises, you have to know what you're doing and what your responsibilities are. And as you said before, you're talking about how in today's day they're doing more motion and stuff. And in today's day, wide receivers are being more and more positionless. And we're just swapping you. 1 minute you're in the slot, you're playing the X, you're playing the Y.
Not everybody does that.
No. You keep on saying, okay, fine. The Bills are one of the teams who don't really do motion. But that doesn't mean that that's not becoming a common theme.
No, I'm not talking about motion. I'm talking about guys playing in different spots.
No, but if we're going to bring up how it is a common thing now, it's becoming more common for motion, I'm going to also bring up that it's becoming more common players are playing multiple wide receiver
How often
spots.
did Gabe Davis play in the slot?
Gabe,
no.
Earlier in his career, he did. Ask me how much Diggs did.
This year. How often?
I don't know. I don't know.
It wasn't a lot.
But Diggs was in and out.
Shakir on the outside?
Shakir was in and out. So was Kincaid in and out.
This is crazy. This is crazy to me because even how you're saying that, okay, every defensive end I face is going to be different, and I have to study this defensive end because he going to present something different to somebody else. Do corners not present something different that they do well every week, and you have to be like, okay, this tendency,
Not
this
necessarily.
corner.
dominant corners?
Not necessarily because
Are
because
they?
of their way,
I think there's more dominant defensive
Again,
ends
that
not
than
has to-
necessarily because of how they're able to defend as a corner. They are less handsy nowadays than ever because of the way the game has changed.
I think
So a physical corner that you think may be physical, he's going to be less physical in the game once he gets a PI called on him early.
I don't know, but L'Jarius Sneed is still going to do what L'Jarius Sneed does.
okay. Well, anywho, the person who I believe should get tagged. That's where we was at. I believe.
Yes.
So it's twofold for me. One, I'm looking at the Bucks because the Bucks got a lot of dudes. Their team going to look completely different next year. Between
Good.
Baker,
Good.
between Mike Evans,
Absolutely.
between
Winfield.
Antoine Winfield Jr.,
Devin
Devin White. That's so. I'm thinking. I want the Ravens to tag Justin Madubuike. I feel as though the way that the game has been changing, the easiest way to affect the quarterback, especially in the AFC, is right at the center. Justin led them in sacks last year at the defensive tackle position, which is crazy. And we've seen what they're able to do with that defense, disguised in him causing pressure. The Chiefs had 0 points in the second half. I feel like bringing him back at 26 years old will be important for the foundation of their defense. Well, no, that would be interior lineman, but
No, he can kick to the 5 tech.
How often do you see him do that?
There's been a number of times he's kicked to the 5
A
tech.
number, but most of the time, where's he at?
I mean, he's lined up everywhere across the line.
Well, you don't have me no numbers.
Just like you said that these receivers can line up everywhere. These defensive linemen can line up everywhere now. Chris Jones is all across the line. The 5, the 3, the 1 eye, the 0. It doesn't matter.
My responsibility
They're everywhere.
as a left tackle is my responsibility as a left tackle on that certain play, no matter where Chris Jones is lined up.
You're right until a stun is ran, and you're like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen after the snap. But hey, it is what it is. They don't have anything to worry about.
Again, you are
because pre-snap, I'm sitting here thinking Chris Jones ain't coming. Oh, let me drop back. Wait a minute. There's a tackle in stunt. Here comes Chris Jones. Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But no,
that's in my zone. That's who I'm blocking.
So Patrick Queen, I think it's going to be important for the Ravens to retain Patrick Queen. I feel as though I don't know what linebackers. I was trying to scan linebackers. I saw Devin White was out there. There's a lot of outside linebackers.
David is one.
Getting a little old. Maybe they can get him for cheap.
Yeah.
They can get like if they wanted to go the other way and tag Patrick Queen, get somebody like Fletcher Cox, just a little vet to fill in the gap for a little bit. Somebody like that.
It's mostly older guys.
But this, and I don't know. It could work for them. Just having somebody who's smart, knows the position. Their defense will be fine. Their defense is always fine. This the Ravens. This is what they do. But yes, to respond to what you were saying, since you want to be all extra.
No,
wait, I got one
it's
more
not
thing.
because it's going to lead to more.
You know what? That's right. We'll circle back.
I'm gonna let it be. Go ahead and let me get this. I'm gonna let it be.
You are not changing how you play said position at the left tackle. You understand, okay, the defense is going to change around me. Your job remains mostly the same. You will just have to change your thought process and your plan. As a wide receiver, in terms of what we are speaking on, is the array of things you can do and can learn at the wide receiver position. Everybody has to read defenses and be able to adjust and study and know what certain looks are going to be for them. That doesn't change. That's for every NFL player. You have to know what the defense is going to do. And that's what y'all are arguing. You're saying that you have to learn more as a left tackle based on what the defense is doing. We're saying as you're at your position, there are only so many different ways that you can block somebody because you're blocking. Getting open, there are so many different ways to get open compared to how you block. That's what I was saying.
Just let him have it.
All right.
We can move on.
Cordell, who you want to tag?
Go ahead, Molly.
Tag your it.
Oh, man. All right.
Love you guys.
Who do I want to tag? Shoot, look. I slick want to put a transition tag on Saquon Barkley.
Why?
Why you want to do that man like that?
I really want to put it because nobody's gonna.
Saquon don't deserve that, man.
Nobody's gonna offer him more. That's why. If I put a transition tag on him, he's stuck. I'm not gonna sit here and worry that somebody else is gonna pay him more than the transition tag.
That's crazy.
And you're my best player. So
I mean, on the Giants part, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're my best player. I'm gonna put this transition tag on you, And if somebody is if somebody's bold enough to pay more, then somebody's bold enough to pay more. But I'm not one of these people who think that I can just go into the draft and the third round and the second round and just get a new Saquon.
Oh no, that's
I'm
not in this class. This class is not as fruitful.
Yeah, like if this was last year with Bijan, I'm like, all right,
yeah,
you can go. I'll go get Bijan, and we're gonna keep this thing pushing.
Especially the Giants sitting at 6, 5.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
A lot of teams want a Bijan, right? Man,
so
that's crazy.
But I'm sitting here and I'm like,
you disgusting.
Watch your mouth.
You're not going to get somebody to replace that. So now if you lose Saquon, what do you have? What do you have?
especially on an offense like that where there's so much.
Cody Bellinger, Daniel Bellinger.
There's so many question marks still hanging around the quarterback position after all this time that Daniel Jones has been a giant. Mm-hmm. Letting a guy like Saquon walk out the building, I feel like, man, you're really putting everything on Daniel Jones' plate for this season. I mean, I know it's a $40 million man. It is. But it goes back to the conversation we've had before where it's like, man, they played this thing the wrong way. They should have gave the money to Saquon
and kept it pushing.
And tagged
because he was obviously the better player.
He's the best player. And it's the best player on the team.
And the thing is, it's like
he's the best player on the team.
You can say Dexter Lawrence can be.
He's the best player on the team.
Best player on offense.
Dexter Lawrence is
best player.
Dexter Lawrence is good, but Saquon is the most talented player on the team. He's the best player on the team.
Dexter Lawrence was he not an All-Pro this year?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I'm like, bro, he's a good player. Unless y'all just want to discount All-Pro.
No, he's a good player. He's just not.
He ain't great. He ain't great. Right?
I mean, again, we just talked about.
So All-Pros aren't great. That's what we're saying.
Not all pros are all equal.
I'm gonna leave this alone.
Not all pros, just like not all Hall of Famers are equal. That's what I'm saying.
Second team All Pro the last 2 years,
and that's great.
So he's a two.
But he's not that. He's not.
How many times has Saquon Barkley been an All Pro?
Would you say Saquon is? Where would you rank Saquon as a running back?
You're a Commanders fan. Who concerns you the most?
He's only top 10.
Hold on. You're a Commanders fan. Who concerns you the most on that Giants team?
Okay, so there's some context that's necessary. Because whoever's defense we played, we was going to face pressure, right? So Dexter Lawrence wasn't my concern because anyone who lined up against our offensive line would have been a concern. So I don't think the Commanders would be a good example because I would say Saquon in a heartbeat.
I just want
to I tried to throw an alley for your team, but you refused it. So it is what it is.
Why would I?
Do you think that
we won
back to irrelevancy? You go. It's fine.
Is Saquon a top 5 RB to you guys?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
He's top 5.
Top 5.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on.
Saquon a top 5 running back.
He's never been an All-Pro.
Saquon's top 5 running back.
Yeah,
he's
if we talking everybody healthy, right now,
I'm putting him in there.
I'm putting him in top 5.
He's in my top 5.
For sure.
Hands down.
I'm putting him
in
as good as Dexter Lawrence is, I'm not putting Dexter Lawrence in my top 5 interior defense.
That's where I was trying to go with this.
Then who is?
Chris Jones, Aaron Donald. Honestly,
if you're a 2-time All-Pro,
I'll put Grady in there before him.
No way.
Again, you got Madubuike in
Some
there.
people will probably.
You can't have Madubuike in there if he's also an All-Pro and he's done it more than him.
He's got 2 of them that I think are better than Dexter Lawrence.
You can't put Fletcher Cox in there because Fletcher Cox hasn't been good in years.
I think John Allen and Deron Payne are better than Dexter Lawrence. He's got 2 of them.
They have been great. They weren't productive last year.
They're not all pros.
Statistics that you're talking about.
Are they all pros? Please tell me, are they all pros?
I had more mess to talk behind
just saying.
Deron and Jonathan.
You said what? What is this?
They weren't productive. I don't know.
I could put Eric Armstead in that equation over him.
He's an interior
this year.
Cam Hayward.
He only had 4.5 sacks.
4.5 sacks as an interior lineman.
Cam Hayward.
Yeah,
that's what we bragging about. 4.5 sacks.
That's because he's more
Cam
of a
Hayward
run stopper than a pass rusher.
I will take Wilkins.
Cam's great.
Cam is really good.
Great.
Would you take Wilkins over him?
Christian Wilkins. Ooh, that could be an interesting tag person too.
Christian had a really good.
And honestly, I would. Ed Oliver with 9.5 sacks. I'll take Ed over him too.
I don't know about that.
I'll take Ed and Christian Wilkins.
Well, hey, then something must be going on because if he's a 2-time All-Pro, I mean, what does that mean? Just because you're saying he's not.
I'm just looking at the numbers.
Yeah, he's not the best pass rusher. Cool, he doesn't get sacks, but he gets tackles for loss.
I feel like those pass rushers that you're talking about also get tackles for loss. They also do those things.
Are they all pros?
So
Are they all pros?
I'm still taking them.
Who you asking all pro?
Like,
You still hung up on all pros?
Yeah, he's still on it.
I'll let you have all pros.
no.
Again,
because y'all are the ones that say all pros matter the most. And as soon as
I'm looking at defensive tackle,
and he has more than them. So if you're going to say that, then I feel like you have to be consistent in saying Dexter Lawrence is a top 5 defensive tackle.
I'm gonna help you out, please.
Speaking of consistency,
I'm gonna help you
Cam
out.
Hayward has given me consistency for 10 plus years. Grady Jarrett has given me consistency. Chris Jones has given me more consistency. Eric Armstead has given me more consistency.
No,
let me.
Aaron Donald has given me more consistency.
Hold on, wait. Let me throw y'all some running backs real quick.
Hold on.
It's a little tougher.
Grady Jarrett,
it's a little tougher than what I thought it was. It is. I'm gonna
one-time All-Pro for Grady Jarrett, but I mean, I guess it's
is it first team or second team?
Second team.
Okay.
So Grady Jarrett, cool. Eric Armstead, no All-Pros. So we can go ahead and get that out.
Cam Hayward,
I can give you Cam Hayward.
Chris Jones,
I can give you that.
Aaron Donald.
Yep.
That's 3. Fletcher Cox.
Fletcher Cox hasn't been an All-Pro in years.
He talking about consistency.
We're talking about right now.
Hold on. I want to know what running backs are you challenging me for?
Okay, so Christian McCaffrey,
2018.
Nick Chubb.
No.
Yes.
Top 5 over Saquon?
I'm taking Nick Chubb over Saquon.
No, I'm not. Because if I put Saquon on the Browns, I guarantee you.
No, he doesn't.
I don't know about that, bro.
Nah.
I don't know about that, bro.
He does.
I don't know about that, bro.
Especially he's better in the passing game, and he's just as good of a runner.
Everybody knew with the Browns they're running
I'm
the football.
taking the whole package of Saquon.
He's not just as good of a runner.
He's just as good
No.
of a runner.
Nick Chubb's pop behind his pads is
The
different.
Browns was running the football.
There's two different run styles.
And
Nick Chubb, I'm taking Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb has just as many, if not more, explosive plays and
Who
breaks
else?
more tackles. Okay, Chris
Henry.
McCaffrey, Nick Chubb.
Derrick Henry.
Where you put Bijan at?
He's not. I'm not.
Bijan-
Where you
Bijan
put
in-
Brees Hall at?
Bijan in there.
No.
Brees Hall in there.
I
No.
think
No.
they're in the same tier.
No.
Kenneth
You
Walker.
disrespect. No.
Derrick
I
Henry.
think they're in the same
No.
tier.
Throw Derrick Henry in there.
I haven't thrown Derrick Henry in there yet. I was gonna get there, but he had an okay year.
honestly,
This year,
Josh
I'm not
Jacobs.
taking him. I'm
Josh
not taking
Jacobs.
Derrick Henry played all the game
I'm
though.
not taking Josh Jacobs over him either.
I'm taking
Bro,
Saquon over
him
Josh
and-
Jacobs.
yeah.
I'll take him over Josh Jacobs. Even dudes like Javante.
No, absolutely not.
I'm
Don't
taking
be
Saquon,
disrespectful.
but I'm saying
Nah,
I'm just
you're
bringing
not
people
doing
to the
that.
table.
No.
You're reaching now.
I was reaching. You're absolutely right.
If you
Travis
wanna argue
Etienne.
with me, no.
No.
If you want to argue with me about Chubb, we can argue about Chubb back and forth all day. McCaffrey, and that's it. There's nobody else you're going to argue with me about. You can argue with me about Chubb if you
Not
want
even
to.
Derrick Henry.
I'm not gonna say.
After
Even,
this
I'll throw-
year,
even like-
I'm not
even
taking
like
Derrick
Jonathan
Henry.
Taylor.
After this year, I don't know.
We
if
forgot
I
about
take
Jonathan
Derrick
Taylor?
Henry anymore.
I'll take
He
I'll
still
take
had more
I'll
yards
take
than
Taylor.
Saquon
I'll take
last
Taylor.
year.
I'll put Taylor in that top 5 over Saquon.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor was.
But that's only 3. So it's
where y'all putting
six.
Jameer Gibbs at?
No,
No.
He's
It's
not
only
ready.
1 year.
He's
But
only
hold on,
ready.
hold on,
Saying
hold on.
not already, but in terms of
hold on. So
Go ahead.
y'all
If I'm not putting Bijan in there, I'm definitely not putting Jameer
So,
Gibbs in
so,
there.
so
I
you're
will put
saying
Bijan in
that
there.
you would take
He will be in there, but
McCaffrey-
right now he's not.
McCaffrey, Chubb,
I feel like Chubb is a debate.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
I feel like that is a debate.
He said
right now.
he said that Derrick Henry is a debate.
I think because of the year that he's come off of, I feel like Saquon has now either passed or is equal.
Okay,
to,
I
is
think
what I'm
I
saying.
think our premise for this argument is different because I'm using
And then Jonathan Taylor.
I'm using career wise. I think you
I'm
guys are
using-
just
oh,
using
I'm using-
2023
I'm
season.
using-
going into this season.
Oh no, I'm using talent, skill, and what you are capable of. And I'm saying Derrick Henry, I feel like is on the decline, and I feel like that is why I feel like Saquon younger can do
But
more
as-
than him already.
What about
Alvin
Alvin Kamara?
As many
but the
injuries
body,
as
of,
Saquon
but the
has
body
had,
of work, the body of work from Derrick Henry, you're just going to completely just.
Well, do you think that that's something that can be replicated? You think that he'll be like that next year?
if he
Like,
has,
this is what I'm thinking.
if he
about
goes to
the
the
future.
Ravens, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like
If he goes to the
Saquon-
Ravens, yes.
so it
I
all
think it-
depends on where he
I
goes.
think you can put up.
Yeah,
a
because it's the
thousand.
same with
Okay.
Saquon.
No, I don't know wherever Saquon goes.
No,
Saquon
it does.
goes.
No,
because
it does.
Saquon, because as good
No.
as you and I are boasting up Saquon right now, he's being limited being in that Giants offense,
Right,
Because
but-
that O line is too
No,
inconsistent.
you're right, but him being limited, he's still to me a top 5 while being limited. So that's why I'm like, he'll still be a top 5
But
no matter where he goes.
You can say that with
to
Derek.
me.
You can say
You
that
can
with
literally say that
Derrick
with Derrick
Henry.
Henry.
Okay,
Because
so
offensive line
fine,
was
fine.
trash.
Okay, so
You can
we can
literally
say
say
this.
that with
So again, I said it could be debatable, and so I'm like, fine. I'm fine.
And I also think Josh Jacobs.
I'm not taking.
I think
I'm
Josh Jacobs is
You
debatable.
lost me there.
No.
I'm
Bro,
taking Saquon.
Josh Jacobs has led the league in rushing before.
He has.
He also catches the football.
Not like Saquon. Don't do that.
He don't.
Also catches like he.
Yes,
But he's
I-
still a good pass catcher.
Yes, he's a great
But-
pass catcher.
Do you
It's
think
what
they're
bothers
equal to his runners?
What bothers me with Josh Jacobs is the last 2 years he's had the benefit of sharing the same field with Devontae Adams. Saquon has never had that luxury. Never had that luxury.
But the
Saquon-
Raiders
So
haven't
the
had a
tension-
quarterback.
is
the
the
tension, but
offense
again, the
and
tension,
the offense.
the
is
attention
Saquon.
is on Saquon at literally every game. When it comes to the Raiders, who are you defending most? Who first and foremost, who are you game planning against? Devontae or Josh?
This feels very Lamar Jackson.
You're going
give him
in
some,
yeah,
give him
going
some
into
weapons
the
to
game
see what he
to
do.
limit
He's
Devontae.
limited.
I,
that's what it feels
But
like.
they've had no quarterback.
Saquon.
So
Doesn't
either
matter.
way, he's not even getting the ball.
Now
like that.
both of them share that quality. Both of them have not had a quarterback, but both of them have not had a Devontae Adams to share the field with. There's a complete difference.
I feel like
All I know is Josh Jacobs has more
Saquon
rushing
today
yards,
is
touchdowns.
Saquon is my modern day Barry.
Barry Sanders.
Yes.
All right, no.
No, when I say modern day,
No.
I'm talking about his situation. It's just Saquon. He ain't got nothing else. He's the team. The team is him. Offensively,
I think that's a fair comparison.
Like that,
If
that's
you
what
compare
I'm saying.
situation.
I'm not talking,
Yeah.
I'm just talking
Okay.
situation.
Hold on. So, hold on.
And
so,
only Barry is better in that type of situation.
so with Josh Jacobs,
That we've seen.
before-
Yeah,
I agree.
that we've seen.
Hold on,
I
but
agree.
with Josh Jacobs before Devontae, it was who else was it?
Who do you think? Who had a better O line?
That I don't really know.
The Raiders.
You make it seem like the Raiders.
Oh no,
You make it seem like
the Raiders have a good
offensive
line. They have a good line. They have a good line. Again, they
They have a
were
good line. The
they were
Giants had a
trade.
bad line. Like he had a good line. The Giants had a bad line.
Andrew Thomas has dealt with injuries. Evan Neal is inconsistent.
Like there's a difference.
Wait, what offensive lineman do you know that's on the Raiders?
The Raiders didn't they
No,
trade?
Colton
They
Miller?
traded
Starting
homeboy
left
to
tackle?
the.
Colt Miller. Thank you.
They
Move
have
on.
a good offense.
Come on,
Nobody
Josh.
sits here and
Come
says
on, man.
that
Why you
the
asking
Raiders,
me
the
that,
Raiders
bro?
have a bad line.
That's
The
disrespectful.
Raiders
The Raiders
traded-
have a good line.
They
I
traded
can't believe
away
that's
good linemen and
what was
still
that,
had a good
casual
line.
to you?
Yes.
What's wrong?
They have a good line. It's not superb, one of the top 10. They have a good line. The Giants. All
But-
I'm saying is
The line is so bad that the right tackle they just drafted, 2 years ago, they're thinking about kicking him inside the guard already before his rookie deal is up. That's how bad the line is. They're like, we can't put you out there on the island anymore. You got to slide.
you got a bad line, you got no wide receivers, and you got no quarterback. You just got Saquon.
Saquon does have a lot to go against every Sunday compared to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is cool because he knows.
Okay,
He
Saquon,
knows.
Saquon,
He
top
knows.
5 running back.
He knows
Yes,
at least
that's
two.
all I'm saying.
He
Dexter
knows.
Lawrence, top
He
5
knows.
defensive
No.
tackle.
Saquon, at least with Josh. Josh knows there's going to be 2 defenders on just about every play going up against number 17. So his boxes are going to be a little bit lighter.
Okay,
Saquon does not have that luxury.
okay, cool.
That's all I'm saying.
Saquon Barkley, top 5 running back.
No, Dexter Lawrence is not top 5 defensive
Dexter Lawrence
tackle.
is top
He's
5.
not.
He's not a top 5 defensive tackle.
He's good, but he ain't top
He ain't
5.
top 5.
Hey man, those all pros, man. They saying something.
Okay.
They saying something. I'm surprised they ain't saying something to y'all, especially him,
No.
Mr. All Pro guy. Don't care about the Pro Bowls.
Hmm.
He don't
I
care-
don't care about the Pro Bowl.
And yeah, you
We're
don't
having
care?
a Pro Bowl conversation.
Yeah, we're having an All Pro conversation. You still ain't giving him credit.
I did not give him credit. I just said he ain't top 5. That's all I said.
But he has
That's
more.
all I said. He
but
could be a
has-
top 10.
But
You
he
said
has
it. You said he was
more-
pretty good.
But he
He's
has.
good.
You just
but
didn't say he was
has
top 5.
more recently than other people in your top 5.
I think that there are 5 players who I will say are better playmakers, who are better defensive tackles over Dexter Lawrence.
So why is he
I think-
not the All Pros?
I don't know. I'm not the one voting on it.
But you
But-
respect the people that are voting for it.
Okay.
So something
I-
gotta give.
I'm sorry. Deron Payne is better than Dexter Lawrence. I'm
Either
sorry.
you care. Or
I would
not.
like to think so.
If you're gonna say that, you can say that. Oh, well, he has another guy right there. So yeah, he doesn't have to take all the double teams.
Deron Payne is better than him.
Oh, I mean,
I mean, if we're gonna go that route, Is that not
If
true?
that's how you want to discredit my
either
defensive
way,
tackle, sure.
As I said,
I'm just saying, one has 2 All Pros.
either
the
way,
other doesn't.
as I said, I would 1,000%.
Mine has a first team All Pro, but that's
One.
All right.
Ooh.
As I said, I would transition tag Saquon.
I have 2 that have first team All Pro.
Cool.
So I'm not
I would transition tag Saquon
Cool.
Barkley.
Cool. Thank you. We can segue.
Beautiful.
Honestly, we can't even segue.
I'm about to say we cooked a lot of time.
Time is up.
Time is up.
Time
Yeah.
is up. We
Which is-
haven't even gotten a chance to get into the first 3.
Hey, look, we'll dive.
Yeah, I got a lot of off season.
We're gonna dive into it more next
The
week.
first 3 what?
First 3 picks of the
With the second
first
pick in the
one.
NFL
We
draft,
got time.
Nah,
the Washington
It's
Commanders
time.
select.
We got time.
it's
We got
time.
time.
It's time.
We have time.
What we time for?
I
We
don't
got time for the first 3 picks. We got time. Let's
How
do
much
it.
time you got?
Let's do it.
I don't got
Let's
time.
go in there. We have
I
time.
don't have time.
We definitely don't have
You ain't got
time.
nothing to do.
So,
We have time.
I
Let's
don't
go.
have time. So with
So,
that being the case,
where do
we're
we
gonna
start?
kick it off to next week.
We start with Chicago and what they do.
No,
They're taking care. Let's just.
We can touch on Fields real quick. I think we got time for that.
Oh, Jay Fields.
We can talk about Justin Fields.
What?
Let's ride with Justin Fields. H block.
Well,
Talk about
Jay
Justin Fields.
Fields been flirting a little bit in the last few couple days, ain't it?
look,
You know what I'm
just
I know what his stance is on women. I guarantee you that.
to
So,
the edge.
Justin Fields unfollowed the Bears on Instagram, his team. Apparently, he also unfollowed the NFL on Instagram. And his justification for that was
Analogy.
he was going on vacation and he didn't want to see any NFL stuff because he was tired of the trade talk. And he was like, "Oh, if you unfollow a shawty on Instagram, does that mean that
Not
you're
messing with
not
him.
messing with her no more?" He
Yes.
tried to bring equanimity and St. Brown. EQ, you
No,
know.
that's
You
not what it
know.
means. That's not. No. That's like. First of all, terrible analogy. Awful analogy. Okay.
It could be better.
If you
He wasn't
have
wrong.
dealt with women before in your past, okay, and there's a situation where you don't follow her on social media, in all
Or
likelihood,
she unfollows you.
or she doesn't follow you, in all likelihood,
For us common folk.
she's not a priority.
It probably works different for
That's what it says,
celebrities.
Justin. I don't know why he tried to pull that wool over our eyes as if we wouldn't pick up on that, but it's like
we
come
don't
on.
know life.
Like we don't know life. Like, bro, like if
You know.
we also know social media, you know what I'm saying? If you don't want to see certain things on your timeline, man, these social media platforms, they have a mute button.
They sure do.
Mhm.
Again, you don't unfollow people who you love,
Right. Yeah.
who
Sorry.
you want to be with.
Sorry, Justin. Just you gotta do better than that. That's the best you can come up with. Come on, bro.
Man, it works out for me.
Right. Because he's gonna end up.
I think it was more important is that we didn't hear him say that. Oh, I want to be a Bear. I want to be here. I'm gonna be here. This is gonna happen.
But what bothered me is the fact that he did mention in that conversation on the St. Brown Amon St. Brown podcast.
30-13.
Yeah. He mentioned that at this stage of the offseason, he's still kind of sort of in the clouds as far as whether he's a starting quarterback for the Bears or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at that and I said, that's a problem. If the team has not told you, if the team has kind of sort of left you in the blue by this point, whether or not you're even going to be a Bear in 2024,
They still debating.
exactly. That's what that tells me. That's an issue. Because if you're the starting quarterback in 2024, a team is going to go ahead and say, bro, we ain't trading you. You're good. You ain't going nowhere. Forget these rumors. You're staying here.
Now, the one thing I do like about this situation, they ain't lied to him.
They didn't.
They, sometimes you see.
But they didn't
where-
communicate with him
yeah.
either.
But
So-
sometimes you see where they're just like, oh yeah, they told me that I was good and all this
Right.
other stuff.
Didn't
and
hear
all
that.
Of a sudden,
Didn't
you
hear
trade.
any of that.
Yeah, so at least like they haven't lied to him and say, oh yeah, like
But
you are a guy,
but-
and then you're traded.
But even
So I respect that.
even in late February, if a starting quarterback is not necessarily 100% sure whether or not he's going to be on the roster in 2024, I feel that is a problem.
Especially when your team not good. Like if this was somebody who you wanted to be with, who you wanted to stay with, I could understand you being like, okay, I understand them mulling me over because I should want to be a part of this, whatever this thing is.
Correct.
But the Bears aren't that. The Bears are in the same place. Well, hell, they
well, they
I
got a
know
little
that-
better.
yeah, a little better, but even by themselves, they still have a top 10 pick. What's their other pick?
9.
The
Not
Bears
pick.
are stunting his growth.
I agree.
The Bears have stunted.
To an
his
And
growth.
I feel like he feels
He's
that.
got a different offensive coordinator
Mhm.
Every year.
He's been there.
And
Yep.
now you're trying to tell
And
me
he's on a
that
second head coach.
it's my fault.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
But
It's my fault.
yo,
It's my fault to the point that you cannot actually just
Give me competent
Give
coaches
me
and
yeah,
competent
exactly.
personnel.
Give me assurance going into 2024 that I'm going to be here.
Right. You're saying that you can get better by getting Caleb. Like,
There you go.
as if I'm not good enough. Caleb will be good enough.
There you
but
go.
y'all the reasons why I'm not
There you
where
go.
I should
Like they
be.
did what
Bingo.
they needed
Like
to do
you,
to set him up
you
to
ain't
succeed.
uphold your part of the
Right.
bargain. And now, because I'm like, if you were serious about me,
Right.
you would trade back.
Right.
And then let's get this thing going. But you clearly don't believe in me.
Either you would trade back or you would just straight up tell me, bro, you are our starting quarterback in 2024.
Like, we about to get the best guy available.
Yes.
At one.
We're going to build around you.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't told him that yet. And the combine is next week.
Blame me.
Just let that sink in. The
I'm the
combine
scapegoat.
is next week. And they have not told him that he's the starter in 2024.
They're going to
So that means they're waiting to see these guys throw.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's telling me.
Not even just that.
They're waiting to see these guys in person.
Because remember, at the combine, everybody's there. The GMs, everybody's there. So this is going to be the time where we talking just.
They're waiting to talk to other teams. They're waiting to talk to other teams.
You want to holla at me?
There you go.
That's a great point.
We just
There
sitting
you
here
go.
waiting for the other 31 teams. We gonna sit here.
We gonna get some answers next
Let
week.
me have a conversation with these guys before I let you know what I want to let you know. Let me talk to these teams first.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think about my quarterback.
Real easy.
Yep.
Going out to eat with them and just having a drink and just
So basically,
chopping it up.
I'm just
Great way of handling
I'm
business.
concerned about the women in your life, Justin, because I think they may be confused after today. And if that is the way that you kind of sort of just walk around today, like I'm gonna need you to change that because again, when I heard that initially, I was like, "Yo, that's BS." Because
That ain't none of my business.
Every man knows, like, yeah, if you messing with someone and you don't follow them on social media, she ain't a priority. She in the back of your mind, bro.
Ain't got nothing to do with me.
Ain't trying to look at it.
They ain't trying to look at her, bro. They don't care.
So I'm gonna wrap it up with that. We will, I guess, since we weren't able to get into the draft picks. I mean, this will work out better, and we'll see the combine will start next week.
Yep.
We'll do 4 teams instead of 3 to make sure that we stay on pace, so that the last week leading into will be on the last 4 or 5 teams.
Yep.
Going into the draft. So we will leave it there. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed all the debate that we got going on. Please subscribe, share on all socials, leave your comments down below. Let us know what's up. We will be back here next Wednesday. Outspoken. Say what you mean what you say. I'm Cordell.
Marcus.
Eat, Bob.
I'm Dose.
All right, till next time, be easy, be breezy, and please take it easy.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I gotta hit the OK. My